victory. I guess the victory.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, my name is Maria, and today's just going to be a quick words, an encouraging words. Hopefully it will encourage somebody, but it's just me kind of just coming on here to just share my heart with you guys and just talk about something that I had to encourage myself with recently. So I hope it will also encourage somebody else that's watching today's video. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but we often hear the saying, do not despise the days of small beginnings. And honestly, I'm a big believer of that. I believe that when we start something, obviously we know that most times it will start small. And one thing that I always say is that everything starts off as a seed. So whether that is a baby, whether that is a business, whether that is even a career, whatever it might be, things always start off small. So I've always heard this saying, do not despise the days of small beginnings. Do not despise the days of small beginnings. And it's something that even myself I've held on to. However, the other day I was reading through a blog post of mine that I wrote a few years ago. And this was a blog post that I wrote when I started my blog. And it was something that I guess I was encouraging other people on as I was starting that new beginning. And I was encouraging the people reading to not despise the days of small beginnings because, of course, small beginnings never last forever. But it's so crazy because I was looking back and I was reading that blog post and the blog post was speaking to me. And I kind of started to despise the days of small beginnings, if I'm being totally honest. I started to kind of feel like, how long does small beginnings have to last? And I don't know if anyone else that's watching this might be able to relate. And I don't feel like this is something that we talk about often because a lot of the time, especially in our generation, I guess we want things to blow up. And like they say, our generation is the microwave generation. Everything we kind of get it fast paced. We see things fast paced, social media. And I was just looking at certain things, like even with my YouTube channel, for example, and I started to feel like it still feels like small beginnings. And how long is small beginnings actually meant to last? And I had to ask myself that question, that when something is in a small beginning, of course, when it's a seed, eventually you have to start to see the fruit. And I started to despise what I felt like was still small beginnings in certain things, again, like this YouTube channel. And I had to really just take a step back and encourage myself, because in that moment, I could have either got to a point where I just got frustrated and gave up, or got to a point where I just kept on pushing through without actually stopping to analyze why maybe it might still be small beginnings. And I had to just take that step back and just ask myself that, okay, let's go back to basics. Is this something that I'm supposed to be doing right now? What is my why? Like, what is my why for doing this? And I guess for me, it's something that I know that I didn't just get up one day and just say, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel. I know that that's not something that happened for me. And I had to literally just go back to the beginning of when I started this and other things as well, and just ask myself, is this something that I'm supposed to be doing? Because I feel like sometimes, especially in our generation and our culture, we kind of sometimes find it hard to let go because we feel like we've invested so much into it. And that might not even be a YouTube channel. It might be a relationship for some people. I don't know why I felt like I should say that. But sometimes we don't want to let go because we feel like I've invested so much. But honestly, sometimes when things are not working, we actually have to take that step back and go back to basics and ask, is this thing really for me? Is this thing something that I should actually be doing and investing my time in? And if I'm being honest, I got to a point where I just said, God, if I'm not supposed to have this YouTube channel, or if I'm not supposed to invest in certain things, I'm ready to let go and invest that energy elsewhere. But then on the other hand, I just felt like God was just reminding me as well in terms of the importance of being faithful with little. And I don't know if that's a word that will hopefully encourage someone, because that's what encouraged me even as I just continue on this journey, just having faith that I will eventually see the fruit. I will eventually see the growth that I desire to see. And the truth is that when we're in the hundreds, if we're not serving well with the hundreds, why do we think that we're going to serve well with the thousands? So it might even be business. Maybe you're not getting that many customers right now, but you want so many customers. But what are you doing with the customers that you have now? And I think that was just a word that I had to be reminded of. And I used to encourage myself small beginnings don't last forever. And if we're being honest, yes, sometimes we might despise those days. Sometimes those days may last longer than we want them to, but it will never last forever. So I think another thing that I also had to just be honest with myself and be real with myself is, am I actually giving my best self? So you might not be seeing the growth that you want to see. Maybe you're still in that place of small beginnings and you feel like you've been there forever. But sometimes we have to be real with ourselves, and it's a hard thing to do, but we have to ask ourselves, am I actually giving my best self? Am I coming with excellence, or am I just giving the bare minimum and expecting growth? Because if we're just giving the bare minimum, yet we're expected to see the fruit, then we're just fooling ourselves. So that was another thing as well that I think I just had to be real with myself and just say that I could do more. Like, I could do better. I should do better. And I always say do better every day. But if we're being honest, like, we actually can do better every single day, because there's always more that we can do by the help of God as well. So that's also something that I think is important for us to actually just be honest and ask ourselves, that am I giving my best self? Am I giving my full potential? Is there an area in which I can grow? Is there an area I can work on and just work on my skill, work on my gifts? Because just because God gives us gifts doesn't mean that we shouldn't work on those gifts and grow them. So yeah, that's all for today's video, guys. I know it was a short one, but I do pray that it's blessed somebody. And if it has, then make sure that you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, then do subscribe to my channel, and also make sure that you comment below your thoughts on the things that I mentioned in this video, and do share it with someone who maybe they need that reminder as well, that they don't need to despise the days of small beginnings. Yes, sometimes it feels like it's forever, but small beginnings never last forever. And that's just the truth. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. And until then, guys, peace out and God bless always.
He gets the victory.